All right. So it's been a little bit since Tenkaichi 4 was announced. Maybe it's a reboot, maybe it's just a new starting off, but everyone says it's Tenkaichi 4. So we do what we do best. We decided to make a roster of my predictions on what's going to happen. So this may seem very strange to you. There's not a whole lot of character slots comparatively to old Budokai Tenkaichi games. The reason why I say that is because just based off the animations, the little animation, transformation, graphic, or whatever you want to call it, the little teaser, if anything's close to that level of fidelity, and also how deep I would want the characters to be, I don't think in this day and age with DLC being as prevalent as it is, that we could possibly ever expect them to be like 400 characters in this game without them just selling almost all of them to us, right? I'm sorry, it's just the way it is, right? And if it makes you feel any better, I wound up adding more at the end, right? I was editing this and I was like, I need to add more. So here's the base. If you guys like these theory crafting videos, please like and subscribe and share, and let's get on with it. So my idea here is the least represented so far in this day and age is Dragon Ball Super. So in my mind, if you took Dragon Ball Super from Battle of Gods all the way up to Dragon Ball Super Super Hero, and you use the characters' forms that have been given in those areas, you actually have a good base to build off of. What I mean by that is like, okay, well, I'm about to show you guys, right? I'm gonna show you all the Goku forms that would be in the base game. Well, you can use that base Goku and tweak things, right? You can add moves to the DLCs or whatnot and give them like different sets, I guess. Like a Namek Goku, a Buu Goku, a Sand Saga Goku, you know, stuff like that. You can add, you know, you can use the same models if you wanted. Now, I know in the past they got even more in depth, like they changed the facial shape, the hair shape to be more like the animation was at its time, like fluffy hair Super Saiyan, stuff like that. If you didn't know that, there's a lot of cool videos of all the details they put into those old games. I'm not going to go into that right now, but okay, so here we go. Here's the base. Here's all the Gokus. Here's all the Gokus. If you didn't think there was going to be a bunch of Gokus, you're in the wrong place. We got base Goku, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, God Goku, Super Saiyan Blue, Kaioken Blue, Omen, and Ultra Instinct, okay? Now, if they ever get their head out their ass and they make Super come back, then we can talk about other things. Probably not with Goku, but anyways. So there's the Gokus, of course. All the characters, all the Gokus, baby. We got Vegeta, of course, base, Super Saiyan 2, God, Blue, and Blue Evolution, right? That was what was in the anime. And then we got Gohan from the superhero movie. And of course, he had to change his costume up for him being in Battle of Gods to the orange outfit, but that should not be as hard as other things, right? And please give us Beast Gohan. Give us a playable Beast Gohan. And I think they should have him in the base game. Now, I know that would be an easy seller, right? Oh, man, let's just charge him for this. But you want the base game to be able to stand on its own. So I think we just keep Superhero in the game, and that's it. So we get the Piccolos next. My man Piccolo, I want all three forms. And like I said, you do different movesets for him, like the 17 fights iconic. But I want Orange Piccolo in the game as well. I would like him to be a big body character. We added some more Z Fighters, Krillin, Master Roshi, Tien, Chaozu. All these characters were in Battle of Gods, and they all like scrapped with Beerus. So next we have even more characters: scrapped with Beerus, Boo, 18, 17, Trunks, Goten, Gotenks. The reason why I don't have Super Saiyan 3 is because I don't think Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks has shown up since he was in, what was the last time we seen Super Saiyan 3? Was it technically Wrath of the Dragon or whatever? The movie, I think? Or the Buu Saga. So, that could be later. All right, next we got Beerus and Whis. Now, Whis never has not really fought anybody for real, but I think it would be cool to have Whis as a playable character. I had Yamcha slated to be in here, but for some reason in my file I couldn't find him. I put him in later. Yamcha be in there. Resurrection F. I wouldn't go super in depth with some of these things, like the story things, right? Like, I know old Tenkaichis have had like Frieza soldiers and all this stuff. And I know there was a lot of people that fought in the anime specifically. There was like the Captain Ginyu like coming back again kind of thing. I don't think I would go that in depth with this Tenkaichi, just because like there's so many characters now, right? There's so much you can put in here. Just having like some main characters, right? Because here's the thing, I said I wanted to go through Super. If we put everybody that was in the Tournament of Power that was even on screen, you're looking at a roster that's like, I mean, what would that be? Was there 10? Would that be 10 and 10? That'd be over 100 just for the. I think it was 10 people per universe that was involved. I mean, that's just too much. It's too much, man. So you got the 3 Frieza versions that were in Battle of the Gods. Next, we'll have Champa, because Champa and Beerus kind of scrapped. Not really, but, you know, if you got Beerus, it'd be cool to put Champa in there as well. Hit, obviously, it's got to be in there. I get these guys' names mixed up. I think it's Magetta and Botamo. And then Frost. I'm not the biggest fan of Frost. Actually, not the biggest fan of these 3 characters, but that, you know, that's the whole arc you could have. You know, this right here was like a little mini season almost. I would not put Vados in there, just because I don't think we ever saw Vados really do anything, training or otherwise. Next, you got all the Universe 6 Saiyans, Kaba, Caulifla. Man, this is playing the same song over and over and over, huh? Yeah, let's swap it up. They got the Super Saiyan forms, and then I'd put Berserk Kill in there as well. Keflas. Next, you got the Goku Black Art, which would introduce Future Trunks. So you have some forms of Trunks. I know he went Super Saiyan 2, but I would just kind of keep that interchangeable, right? I'm not super interested and add in like Super Saiyan 2 forms for every single character. Like, these characters have Super Saiyan 2 forms as well. I think I would just skip Super Saiyan and put them in Super Saiyan 2s. So, you know what I mean? Like, just, they're so interchangeable. Like, there's not really like a lot of iconic Super Saiyan 2s besides Gohan, in my opinion. Then we go into Goku Black. Of course, Rose, Zamasu, Merge, Corrupted, Vegito, and Vegito Blue. We actually don't see Super Saiyan Vegito at all. And to be truthful with you, we don't see regular Vegito do anything. He goes straight blue, so. But you could already have him in there. All you have to do later on when you wanted to add the Buu Saga is add a Super Saiyan form. So you could literally just reskin Blue if you wanted. I mean, take away some things that he did and give him different other moves, but that's all. Okay, so this is where I started added, right? So this is the Universal Survival arc. We got Dispo, and you got to forgive me, I don't remember all these names. I can't remember them. We got Topo, and then God Topo, Jiren, Full Power Jiren, Bergamo, Lavender, Basil, Ribrianne. I don't remember these two's names, or this guy's name. But I did want there to be like a certain point where there's like still giant enemies, because Budokai had like the big enemies as well, right? And we don't have any of those yet. Like, sure, you could have the super version would be cool, a giant version of Orange Piccolo against Cell Max. This character is pretty big bodied, but I wouldn't make him giant. You know what I mean? He's very big, but not giant. This guy's a giant. This guy's a big body as well, but he's not even as big as this guy. I would make these characters big body characters. So there's a few things in. So I think it's 17, 18 really scrapped with these 3, right? So that's kind of why I added them in there. They kind of have some screen time. But most of these other characters really in the Tournament of Power just kind of don't. I mean, you could add the Universe 6 to Mechans if you wanted, because we got almost everybody. But I just thought they're very forgettable. You know what I mean? They didn't do much, wasn't unique too much. This character is actually like a fusion of a bunch of characters, but I want there to be like a raid boss, right? Like a big enemy. I want things to be fun, right? It doesn't necessarily need to be like balanced as a fighter, per se. But then we add on the last little bit here. Obviously, if I'm going all the way to superhero, we're adding the Gammas, and we're going to go through the Broly movie. So Gamma 1, Gamma 2, Broly with his grade 8 power, or whatever you want to call it. Super Saiyan, and then full power. Gogeta, Super Saiyan Gogeta, and then Blue, and then we add Cell Max, right? So here's the thing. Let's see here. So this is what my idea was. This is the roster, right? This is the base roster of the game. If I'm counting right, is this 85? I think this is 85 characters. That's a lot. That's a lot of characters for a game. If they're all like somewhat fleshed out, right? So let me show you guys what I was thinking. Now, all these numbers have become inconsequential because I have kind of forgotten, or I decided to go another way about it. So this is obviously what I was going to do, right? So this is all the base game with season 1 DLC, and I'm not going to make character forms for all this, right? I'm just adding this. It's how I do it, right? A mix of current and past, which you may think is weird and you don't want to pay for it, and I totally understand. I'm just saying this is how I can see them doing it. And I don't know how they would price this out because there's so many characters and so much stuff that you can do and add. It's really weird to pay for base Dragon Ball Z stuff, but they wouldn't have to add that many characters per DLC, so they can it can kind of come easy, you know what I mean? So with this, I said that they would probably need to add 7 characters of forms. That would be like young Goku, and then like Piccolo Jr. They would need to give them their own movesets, maybe their own animation style. Maybe they could be their own characters, but like Krillin would be in there. I would put like Kid Goku would definitely be one. Kid Krillin, Jackie Chun, which you could just do a skin for Roshi, so you wouldn't have to do that one. Tien was in there, so you could just tweak his moveset. You wouldn't even really have to that much. Maybe give him like an alternate costume. Yeah. So there'd be like a OG Dragon Ball arc, which would only go through like a few fights. We'd have the Sand Saga. You'd have to add Raditz and Nappa, obviously, but most of the other characters have already were already in the base game. So at this point, you're not having to add too much. You know what I mean? You just kind of do the story beats and whatnot. So if this is the case, right? Oh, this is first season. So this is the first season of DLC. Well, we're not going to have Majin Buu. You know, I mean, like Super Buu or Kid Buu or Cell, we're still waiting on those characters. Like, you will be, yeah. But in the meantime, what I would like to do is in between the arcs, right, is I would start dropping movies from the past. I mean, from the future. Future to the past is what I would do. So you get a mix of newer characters to very old characters every season. And then there's also kind of like a cross mix there, because as you go down, if you hammered out the details, the way I was looking at it is like, okay, well then that's less and less characters they actually have to add every season, and just story beats they have to make, and movesets they have to tweak. And I know I did put superhero here. I changed my mind. I want superhero to be in the base game. It should be, which it probably won't be. They'll probably monetize it as well. They're like, oh, Gohan, he'll sell. So after that, it would have the Namek Saga and the Frieza Saga. Most of this would be the Dodoria, Zaraban, and the Ginyus. Here is just mostly Frieza forms that you need to add. Second season would be the straight up Android to the Cell Saga. Most of this would be like Ultra Trunks, Teen Gohan, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, all the Cell forms. This would be like Android 16, 17, 18, 19, you know, all of them. The movies, they can speak for themselves. I'm not going through every single one of these. This would be early Majin Saga, I guess you would call it. This would be the Fusion Saga is the way they mix it up, which is a weird way to cut it up in my opinion. But I'm more of a fan of all the movie stuff, to be honest. There's so many cool characters like Z Broly, Super 13, Bojack. There's so many cool moments in those. So that's 3 packs together for like 11 characters. And I wouldn't put every single character from every single one of these things in it. But okay, all right, so that's it. Let me pull up one more thing. I didn't finish it quite yet. But my last season that I would do, let's pull up the editor here. Haven't had time to work it all the way out, but I'm tired of waiting. All right. I would do GT as my last season. And I would do like a few fights from the Black Star Dragon Ball saga. You'd have Super Saiyan Kid Goku, you know, Super Saiyan 3 Kid Goku, obviously Baby, Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I would add both Cooler movies and then all the OG first 3 Dragon Ball movies. Turles, Garlic Jr., Dr. Wheelo, those movies. And of course, we go Super 17 and Gogeta to finish it out, which would be 2 games that we finished out the life cycle with Gogeta, right? Which, I mean, it just kind of feels right in a way. And I know it will suck, right? Because this is like way down the line. It's like, oh, I can't play as any GT for the whole game. This is just the way I see it, right? Now, if you want to get a little wild, most of these have been broken up into 4 spots, right? I guess theoretically you could do like the beginning of each one of them. So that would be like the old Dragon Ball, the Android, and then this. That'd be the 3 packs. And it'd be all the beginnings, and then you get all the seconds. So it'd still be 4 seasons, but you'd still be waiting on Gogeta, mind you. And in between, they can still have the movies. But that's just what I'm thinking. I put a lot of thought into it. It's just really weird, and I don't know, man. Like, it's hard to know what's going to happen because you don't have any idea where they're going with it, right? I just think it's absolutely crazy in this day and age. I'll reinstate this. To expect like 300 characters without paying DLC for them. That's not the day and age anymore. I'm sorry. It was awesome back in the day. It's just not where we're at anymore. They monetize everything. Everything. So I don't really think it's going to happen this time. But I think this could be reasonable. Like, because the characters aren't like as in-depth as they are in fighting games. They usually only have a few specials each, right? So, if this is what we got, I would be happy. If this was like the base, you know, I would be happy with it. Now, personally, I wouldn't be happy if it was the other way around, right? If they had all of Dragon Ball Z in there, and then I had to pay for all the Super, and Super was trickled out, I wouldn't like it that way. It's the same thing I've had over and over and over again, right? And really, from your perspective, you gotta think. I can choose not to buy the Dragon Ball Z packs. I will buy them anyways. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't want, I don't care about these old characters. I've already played as them in hundreds of games. Hundreds. How many times have I played as Jiren? How many times have I played as Goku Black? Not a ton. They've been in like what, 2-3 games? One's a mobile game. How many Gogeta Blues has I played as? Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, Ultra Instinct. How many Beast Gohans? There's not much out there. You know what I mean? So I think it would be more hype to do Super. That's what I would do. And like I said, this is 85 characters. I think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good to start out. And you see how it goes, and it depends on how depth they go. I would like the story mode to actually be pretty faithful. I want there to be somewhat of cutscenes. I mean, they usually just use the models, and they jump in this arena, and they talk to each other. They could do that if they wanted to, right? But I kind of want some cutscenes and stuff here and there. I really liked how Kakarot did it. I just don't like the gameplay of Kakarot. So that's what I would do. Let me know what you guys would do with Tenkaichi 4 and its roster. And once again, please leave me a like, please subscribe, and we'll check in next time. Peace.